Hey, my name is Katrina, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about the books that I read in July up to the point of filming. I thought I would do something different in July, namely try and record a clip after every 1 or 2 or 3 books that I finish to see if the books are then fresher in my mind, because I used to just film like after the whole month is over, and then I tend not to remember as much about the books that I read in the beginning of the month. So I thought I would film clips as the month goes along. I have seen this idea on several other booktube channels. So I hope nobody minds that I'm trying this as well. So what you're going to see are, I think, 5 clips of me talking about some books that I read in the month of July up to the point of filming this. But one thing that I would like to address before I put those in editing is that apparently, unknowingly, I am wearing the same shirt in 3 of these clips, even though there's like a week in between each one. Well, a week in between some of these clips. And some of them just a few days. But I assure you, the shirt has been washed in between. And I do laundry every weekend, but yeah, seemingly I like to wear that shirt a lot, so I would just like to address it in case, yeah, it might look weird, but I assure you that's like, there's a whole week in between some of these clips sort of thing, so yeah. Also, it's the 3rd time that I'm filming this, because the first time my battery decided to conk out partway through filming, because I filmed the clips and didn't think to actually charge it. And so then I replaced it with my other battery. And then I was talking and it turns out I didn't press record properly. So yeah. So yeah, I will now just put in the clips and then I'll come back with it. Hey, I'm Katrina. I have just read 3 books and I thought I'd try to film clips as I read the books, kind of thing. So hopefully this will work out. So the first book is Candy Cane Murder by Joanne Fluke. This omnibus actually contains 3 short stories, namely Candy Cane Murder by Joanne Fluke, The Dangers of Candy Canes by Laura Levy, and Candy Canes of Christmas Past by Leslie Meyer. But I only read the Hannah Swensen one, the Joanne Fluke one, for now, together with my friend Sarah, because we read a Hannah Swensen book a month, sometimes 2. This time we read 2, because this was a novella, but I'll get to that. I do want to read the other 2 eventually, but they are part of like other series that I haven't read, but you know, since I own them, so I will read those eventually, but I was just in the mood for Hannah Swensen now, so yeah. So this is a novella. I've talked about this series plenty of times. This was book 9.5 in the series. I will leave links to all the other videos where I talk about the earlier books in the series. I read this together with my friend Sarah, and we both really enjoyed this novella. Yeah, and this one is kind of Christmas themed. The next book I finished is Gewoon, leuks doen by Aafke Romeijn. This is a memoir about living with depression, and this is part of the same series as these ones. I hope you can see that alright. I'm not really sure that we're now in the exact same position, probably not, so I apologize if it suddenly looks different. I just wanted to briefly show you that without having to get the books out from there. I'm not really like dressed or anything to film a video, but actually currently my computer is rendering the video that I've just edited, so I thought, what can I do now? So I thought I might as well film this clip for a few minutes and then do something else while it renders and stuff. So let's just put that down for a moment. So this is the newest one in that memoir series. Oh, here you can see them all. This I pre-ordered this book, and there was this bookshop that was doing a signed, personalized edition for the same price as like a normal pre-order in other places. So I got it from that bookshop, and so I have a signed and personalized copy. And I don't have that many signed books, so yeah, for the same price I liked to get that, of course. And I really like this book. In this book, Aafke talks about her own depression and her experiences with it, the various therapies she's done or tried, medication, things that are helpful, not helpful, also how the people around her respond to her depression. And there's also, the last chapter is about depression and being a parent, and because she has a daughter, and so how she went through the choice of wanting a child or not, and she lives together with her husband. Anyway, so yeah, I really like this book. I have struggled with depression myself, and do still struggle with it sometimes. So I found quite a few things in this book to relate to, and I like the writing style. I really like this series that Blossom Books is doing. This is called Hoofdzaken, the series, and Blossom Books Bold is like the imprint. So Blossom Books is the publisher, but they call like this the non-fiction one Blossom Books Bold, although I don't see it actually now in the book, but I've heard that they referred to that. So here are some of the other ones. So we have Bianca Tups's boek, Maar je ziet er helemaal niet autistisch uit, which I have done a video about before. Ik ben autistisch by Bianca Tups en Esther, which I've also done a video about. Leuks by Fascinereving, which also a video. Volletje Borderline by Katrina Hulshof. Steek je los, Esther. I have done videos on all of these, I think. So I will try to leave links to them. There are memoirs about other like mental health things. This one was, and so yeah, I really like this. And then the third book and last book I want to talk about in this specific clip is Carrot Cake Murder by Joanne Fluke. This is book 10 in the Hannah Swensen series. And I read this together with my friend Sarah, so we read first the novella and then the next novel, which is Carrot Cake Murder. This series is about, I didn't even say that with the previous one, I'm sorry. It's about Hannah Swensen, who owns a bakery called the Cookie Jar, where she serves cookies and pastries and coffee. She really likes baking things, cooking things. And this series is a cozy mystery series. So in each book, generally a body is found. Although there was one short story where it was a missing person. Anyway, so in each book there's a mystery, let's put it that way. And you also read about the characters and things like that. And this was another enjoyable cozy mystery. I will say some of the books in this series have, I would say, kind of a content warning for bits of fat phobia. Not all of them have that as much. Now I'm a fat person, so that's like the one element that I like less. Now this series was first started to be published in, I want to say 2000, 2001, so given that age it makes sense. I don't know if it is as much in the newer books or not. This one is from 2008 and there wasn't as much of it in here, which I appreciate. But yeah, overall I really enjoy this series, cozy mystery series. And I enjoy all the talk of all the food. Hannah has a cat called Moishe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly. But yeah, it's always nice to read about the cat's antics and all the characters that we've come to grown in love over the series. And so yeah, this was another enjoyable read. I read it pretty quickly as well. These are pretty quick reads. This series also contains recipes of the food that Hannah is making, or that is somehow relevant to what's happening. And yeah, so I really enjoyed this. So yeah, these three were all pretty good reads. So yeah, hopefully see you in the next clip when I finish something else. Hey, this is Katrina, and so I have finished another book and I thought I'd record another clip. I read Summer of Salt by Katrina and Leno. I read this book in one day. I just wanted to keep on reading. It was really good. here is the synopsis. This book is a contemporary fiction, but it has some magical elements. A bit like The Astonishing Colour of After by Emily X.R. Pan, which I read in June and I loved. And I love this book as well. And so I'm thinking maybe I'm discovering like a new sort of subgenre that I am loving at the moment. So yeah, if you know of any more books like these two, please let me know. I have more books by Katrina Leno on my general TBR, and I have Emily X.R. Pan. Her second book is, I think, coming out soon. Well, by the time you watch this, it'll be out. That's on my wish list. I'm currently not buying any books, but when you watch this, anyway. So like, if you know of any similar books by like other. So yeah, this is about Georgina Fenway. I hope I pronounced it correctly. She lives on a small island. The island is called By the Sea. She and her family have an inn on this island, and basically like 9 months or maybe even 10 months of the year, I'm not sure, it's very quiet there. But then during the summer season, this very special bird is on the island for like 2 months, and then all the, I think, does she call them bird heads? So basically all the like the people who are really into birds and bird watching, they come to the island and they stay at the family's inn to go look at this bird. So the island's pretty small. They have, so there's the one inn, and then there's like one shop where they can buy food, and there's like one library and things like that. I don't remember exactly. I might have been wrong about the library, but there's like, it's really small, if that makes sense. So it's a really like close community. These bird enthusiasts, she sees them every year, so she's kind of grown up meeting these people every year. So the magical elements of this book have to do that in Georgina's family, although the women in her family have a specific type of magic, which is different per person, and they normally discover that before their 18th birthday. Now our main character Georgina is almost 18. She has a twin sister called Mary, and Mary, since a very young age, has been able to float, like defy gravity, but Georgina is afraid she may never get her magical gift. So yeah, here's a synopsis. The mother of Georgina and Mary, I can't remember her name right now, but she has the ability to make kind of magical potions. This book is also sapphic, and yeah, I love this. I just wanted to keep on reading. So this book and also The Astonishing Colour of After are both young adult contemporary fiction with some magical fantastical elements. Now young adult contemporary is one of the things I really like to read. There's lots of them behind me, and A.S. King has written some books as well that kind of are a little bit like this, and I love lots of her books. So yeah, after this I felt again in a bit of a book hangover. If you've seen my review of The Astonishing Colour of After in that wrap up, then you'll know I got one after that. So yeah, I kind of felt at the time the other thing to do is just to read another book by Katrina Leno, which is You Must Not Miss, which is what I'm reading at the moment. So my next clip could very well be me talking about You Must Not Miss and that I finished and stuff. So yeah, that's all I've had for this clip. So if you know of any more books like young adult contemporary fiction with some magical elements, let me know, especially if you've read either one of like if you've read books by Katrina Leno or Emily X.R. Pan. Anyway, yeah, that's it for this clip. See you in the next one. Hey, I have finished another 2 books, so I'll talk about them in this clip. The first one is You Must Not Miss by Katrina Leno. After loving Summer of Salt, I wasn't really sure that I wanted to read because I just really loved that book so much. So I decided to read another book by the author. And this one is called You Must Not Miss. This book is about a teenage girl called Magpie. This is a young adult contemporary, but with fantastical elements. And our main character, Magpie, she struggles. Her family... Well, here's a synopsis. It's pretty long to read though. Yeah, so I don't want to spoil too much, but basically stuff is going on in Maggie's family and in Maggie's life that is difficult for her, and so she decides to mentally escape. So she has this notebook, and she writes about this place called Near. It's a place that she has thought up, but then it becomes real. I really enjoyed this book for the most part. Just the ending has left me a bit confused, and I still feel like I have a few questions. So basically the ending disappointed me a bit, but the rest of it I really loved. It just wanted to make me keep on reading. I didn't love it as much as Summer of Salt, but I liked it. I still really liked it, just yeah, that ending, I don't know what to think of it. But yeah, I just wanted to keep on reading. And yeah, this book does come with some trigger warnings, so let me know if you want to know or if you want to look it up. Anyway, so I rate this a 9 out of 10 in my rating system, or I guess you would say 4.5 stars. The next book I read and picked up, sorry for my hair, I had a shower, is Logging Off by Nick Spalding. So here are some of the other books I've got by him, except his newest one, which I pre-ordered. I think this one was there or there. Yeah. Anyway, so the first book I read by him is called Love from Both Sides, and that came out a long time ago. And then Love and Sleepless Nights and Love Under Different Skies. I haven't read Love Among the Stars yet. This is like a series. Anyway, I'm sorry. I guess I better sit down. I was just trying to... Yeah, I don't even know. This one I haven't read yet. I'm not sure if it's going to be like phobic or not. It might trigger me. Yeah, anyway. Sorry if we're not in exactly the same position again. Yeah, I guess I would just talk about this book. But I will say his books are not for everyone. They're humorous. Most of them are fiction, but he's written a couple of memoirs as well, which I have also read, which were on that shelf as well. For me, it depends if I'm in the mood for that sort of humor. For example, some of the humor is a bit like crude or toilet humor. I have to be in that kind of mood. Not everyone likes that stuff. If you don't, that's okay. So this book is called Logging Off, and this book is about Andy. And Andy struggles a bit. It says on the back he has insomnia, anxiety and neckache, and he is convinced something is very wrong with him. So eventually he goes to his doctor, his GP, and his doctor tells him that he thinks it's that Andy is addicted to using technology and the internet, and so from his doctor he has to not use the internet and technology for 60 days other than what he has to do for work. So Andy is a graphic designer, so he is allowed to use his computer for work purposes, but he's not allowed to go on like Twitter and Facebook and just for like non-work related stuff. Andy uses his phone and an iPad and everything a lot. We see that in the beginning of the book. So here is the synopsis on the back. He also has a friend, and his friend is a reporter for the local newspaper, and his friends write an article about him with Andy's permission, and so he becomes like a bit famous among his local town for this sort of digital detox that he's doing. And yeah, I enjoyed this. Like I said, definitely not for everyone, but yeah, I thought this was interesting. I have read a memoir of a person, I think that it was in Dutch, of somebody who like did this, like not a fictional thing, I mean. But the memoir is upstairs, is it? No, maybe I kept it here, but it'll be up there somewhere. So either way. I really like that memoir as well. I think it was called Een Jaar of Line. Yeah, so it's called Een Jaar of Line by Bram van Montfort, which that came out a while ago. 2013, according to my database. I really liked that memoir. That's how I remember it, but now the database says my rating isn't as high as I thought it was, so interesting that you can remember things differently, like afterwards, than what I apparently rated it at the time. But anyway, yeah, so I thought this concept was quite interesting. I liked reading this. Yeah, it was funny in places. Some of the stuff was a little bit maybe like, well, you think, could that really happen? But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Definitely stuff also to kind of think about the concept, although I don't actually spend like as much online as Andy does, and also all the, like, Andy has also like apps to track lots of stuff for him, like his sleeping. I also liked, let's see if I can find it, to the dedication of the book. Hopefully I can show that. It says, "I'd like to dedicate this book to everyone who follows me on social media. You clearly all need something far better to do with your time. Try knitting." So, well, I just thought that was kind of funny. Nick Spalding actually started off as a self-published author, and I think now I don't know if he's still like an indie author, or maybe he's like published by a traditional publisher now. I'm not sure. This is published by Lake Union, but I don't actually know much about them. Anyway, so yeah, I've been reading his stuff for a long time. So yeah, the database says I read the first book by him in 2012, so that is now 10 years ago-ish. I hadn't actually read anything by him in some time, so most that I read from him I read like a while ago. But I did keep buying his books because I do think it is nice to support like indie authors and smaller authors. And also, once I've read a few books by an author and I like those books, I tend to want to just keep on buying the works and supporting them, even, you know, if it might take me a while to read them and stuff. Anyway, but now I don't have much money, so anyway, those two things are not just related. Anyway, I like to do that, but nowadays I'm not able to do that as much because I don't have much money and prices have increased a lot. Yeah. Anyway, here's a list of some of the stuff he's written. Anyway, so yeah, I like this book. It was an enjoyable read. I read this pretty quickly as well. I also read You Must Not Miss Pretty Summer Sort as well. Hey, I have finished another 2 books, but I wasn't able to film this update till now. At the moment, there are actually people doing work by the street, so it seems quiet at the moment. So I will try to just quickly film this clip before it gets too noisy again, hopefully. So the first book is Nazomer by Esther Verhoef. This is a Dutch, I would say, like literary novel, contemporary fiction. This book is about a woman called Claudia. Here is the back, and well, here is a bit more of the synopsis. And she is a famous fashion designer, and we kind of alternate chapters between the present timeline and the past timeline. So in the past timeline, we see Claudia as a child, as a teenager, growing up in the Netherlands, and see how like certain things got to be how they are, and also like secrets in her past and stuff like that. That's what it, I think, said in the synopsis. And in the nowadays, she is in Paris in the world of high fashion. I like this book, but I didn't love it, and the main reason I don't want to give this book full marks is because so the word Nazomer in Dutch, no issue with that, but the English term is used for at some point for the name of a collection, and I feel the English term is racist. So Nazomer means like after summer, late summer. Maybe based on that you can gather what the term is that I mean. If you don't, feel free to ask, but I kind of want to say it because I think it's racist. I have looked it up on Google, and there are indeed, as I thought, Native Americans who do not like this term, and also we don't need it. Like late summer, that would, why not just use that? But yeah, I didn't like that the author chose to use that term that I think is racist as the name of the collection, whereas I feel like she could have just chosen like late summer or after summer or the Dutch, but you know, I guess it's internationally this fashion. But yeah, I feel like we don't need that. And also I did not like that for most of the characters their skin color wasn't much described, but there was a character who was described as being African American, and they had a minor role, and I think there was another character that was Asian and they also had a minor role, but I feel like since it wasn't pointed out, I don't know if the other characters are all white. I don't know that, but like it just didn't sit well with me. Like either point it out for everybody, but like why only point it out when they're characters of color? Like, and again, they were like minor characters, but for other minor characters their skin color or ethnicity or anything wasn't mentioned. So those were the two main issues I had with the book. The rest of it I liked it a lot. I wanted to keep on reading. I liked how it alternated between past and present timeline. The chapters were relatively short, and so sometimes it would end on like a sort of mini cliffhanger in a chapter, and then you'd have a few pages in the other timeline, and then you go back to that. But sometimes both of them had like mini cliffhangers, and it just really wanted to make me keep reading. And I liked learning about this character's past and how things got to, you know, all the bits that happened. Spoilers, obviously, but yeah. I found it also really interesting to learn a bit more about the world of fashion and certain terms and like what is involved in it. Now I'm not really much into fashion in the sense that I don't really like care what's like trending now or what. I just want to wear clothes that I like, that fit me, that I feel comfortable in. You know, and that the material that I like and stuff. But I found it interesting to learn more about it, and the characters were very interesting. Now it has been a few days since I read this book because I finished this book. I kind of stayed up a bit late to finish it, like half an hour past my bedtime, and I finished it. And the next day, the whole day, I had a migraine, so that was not the best decision. But yeah, so obviously I didn't feel up for filming it. And the day after I was busy anyway. So it is now a few days since I read this book, and it's a bit further away in my mind, I have to say. I have just finished reading another book, which I'm going to talk about next. And that's much fresher in my mind. So yeah, anyway, not full marks for this. I did enjoy it. I will say I would give a few trigger warnings with this book. So if you want to know that, ask me, but it's in Dutch, so I know that most of you can probably not read this book anyway. But yeah, anyway, moving on. I feel like with these clips, I tend to talk a bit longer, so I don't know how long the actual wrap-up will be, or maybe I'll cut it into parts or something. We will see. So the next book, and I have just finished this, is Familiediner by Linda van Rijn. I started reading this book yesterday evening, and I finished it this morning. It's not very long. It is 156 pages. This is a thriller. It is Linda van Rijn's 25th thriller. I have previously read one thriller by her. I think it was The Cliff. It lists the thrillers here at the back. No, I've read two. Okay, so I've previously read The Ja Club and Piste Alarm. I like Piste Alarm way more than The Ja Club. I really like this one. This is a pretty short one. It's only 156 pages. This is about a family who is having a Christmas dinner. This year, for the first time, they're not having it at one of their houses for reasons that are not really important right now. And they're having it at a restaurant. But then the youngest son doesn't show up. Well, here is the back. And it turns out the like family members all kind of have their secrets to do with the youngest son. So there is the father and the mother and then the 3 adult children. And then so the youngest son is then the one who doesn't show up. Each chapter is written from a different character's point of view. And in that chapter we learn more about that character and their relation with the youngest son of the parents. So we have the parents and 3 children who are now adult, and so the youngest one doesn't show up, and they're all kind of having their own worries about why he didn't show up. Yeah, this was, I've only just finished reading this, so it's a bit fresher in my mind, and I really liked it, and I wanted to keep on reading. It's not a long read. It was a pretty fast read actually, and it's the pages are not like very big, and so it was a pretty fast read, and I really liked it. This book was published in 2020, I think, and in November 2020, and so it takes place. This is the Christmas dinner in 2020, so it does reference bits about the COVID pandemic and what it was kind of like at that time then here in the Netherlands, because this is a Dutch book that takes place in the Netherlands, although it doesn't mention a specific like town or anything, but like it says then the restaurants were allowed to be open for in that time. I don't recall. It's actually published in November 2020, so in that sense, and it takes place then in December 2020 on Christmas Day. So anyway, I have not read many books that actually like talked about like are set in where the pandemic is there and where you see the characters wearing masks and stuff. So I liked that we saw that a bit in this book, and because I haven't read a lot of books that do that, and well, maybe there are. I have a couple. I think I have one at least on my TBR. But anyway, I found this a really interesting read. I enjoyed getting to know the characters and their secrets and stuff. And yeah. Hey, my name is Katrina. I finished another 3 books since last filming a clip. It's been actually a few days since I finished those, but I was having a few difficult days after that. One day I had a shutdown, to complete sensory overload. Another day I had a migraine, and so I didn't feel up to filming this, but I thought I should really film this now. So here we go. I apologize about the lack of natural lighting. It is very hot outside, and my windows are south facing, so I've shut the shutters because it's just gonna get even hotter otherwise. So I'm sorry, yeah, because I normally try to film with natural lighting, but yeah. So the first book that I finished since last recording is Allies, edited by Shakirah, Bourne and Dana Alison Levy. The subtitle is Real Talk About Showing Up, Screwing Up and Trying Again. This contains essays by a bunch of different authors. You can hopefully see all the names on the cover, unless you're vision impaired. In which case, I'm sorry for not mentioning them all. I heard about this book via Kayla from Books and Wild's channel. I thought this was a really great read. Here is a list of the authors and the essays. So some are more like concrete tips about how to be a better ally. Others are about like an experience that that a person had. So some of these authors are disabled, some of them are people of color, some of them are on the LGBT spectrum. So it is about being an ally to people of color, black people, disabled people, queer people, and so on, which I'm white, but I am disabled and queer. Anyway, that's another here and there, but so these are our own voices written. Also in the back of the book there are some other resources that you can check out, as well as some like organizations, some books and podcasts and things that will teach you more if you're interested in checking that out, which I always appreciate when a book does that. And yeah, I really liked this book. Yeah, and it also showed that you can be an ally in multiple ways, which I thought was quite good. So like I said, some of the essays had more concrete, like specific tips. Others talked about how in that person's life they met an ally who helped them understand certain things about themselves or the world or stuff like that. And I also liked like when in the essays some of the essays, for example in I.W. Gregorio's essay, she talked about how so when she screwed up and messed up and yeah, anyway, I thought this was a really good read. So yeah, I would recommend if you think that this is a good read for you. The next book is Superkrachten voor hoofd by Wouter de Jong. This is the Haegens edition. And this is a children's non-fiction book about mental health. So I'm not the target audience for this. I found this book really good. I wish there had been a book like this when I was a child, because I think that would have definitely been very helpful. There are quite a few things I recognize from things that I've learned as an adult, but that I didn't know as a child. So yeah, I like this. I don't know the exact difference between like the original edition and the Haegens edition. So Haegens is a Dutch YouTuber. And so this book contains also specific tips from him and humor and stuff, and I don't know the exact difference between this and the original edition. There might not be like lots of differences, but yeah. So this book has illustrations by Hein de Kort. It also comes with some extras that you can look up on their website, which I haven't checked out yet, but I will. So some bits actually have like an audio file that you can listen to. Anyway, so this book contained, for example, elements of mindfulness, visualization. It talked about various emotions, things you can do to help you. Here's a summary, not summary, here's chapters. A middle chapter in which they talk about like concentration, focusing. I have ADD, so that's works into a bit different for me and other people who also have ADHD or ADD. But yeah, overall I thought this was a really good read. I wish there was something like this when I was a child, because this is a relatively it's not that old a book. So the original first edition is from 2019. The first printing of the last edition is 2020, and this book is then the third edition, January 2022. because I didn't get this that long ago. And yeah, it also has some bits for parents, in which it also references certain research, which is, I think there's here a list of, like, at the back, also for, like, it's articles, scientific articles, as well as books for the reading for parents or teachers, stuff like that. The book also kind of contains challenges that kids can do with their parents to, like, train their mind, which, well, since I'm not a kid, since I'm not, you know, of that age anymore, I didn't do those. I didn't buy the book for that, but I think it seems to me something quite appealing to children, to talk with their parents about these things as well. Anyway, yeah, I really like it. Then the third book is Ivy Aberdeen's Letter to the World by Ashley Herring Blake. I really like this cover. This is the first book that I've read by this author. I have several of her on my channel TBR, but they aren't up here anymore. I took them downstairs in my TBR soon card. I was actually going to read one of her other books first, but anyway, I just settled on this one. This is a middle grade contemporary fiction. She has also written some young adult ones, and I think she has this year published an adult book, but I haven't read that one. So this is my first one by her. So this one's middle grade contemporary fiction. This is a sapphic book. Here is the synopsis, which is probably a bit too long to read for you, but this book is about Ivy. In the beginning of the book, there is a storm. Do they call it tornado? Yeah. There is a tornado that just completely destroys Ivy's house. She and her family are okay. They made it out okay. But their house and their things and everything is just completely gone. And in that process, she loses this notebook. This notebook that she draws things in. She loves to draw. Sorry, my computer just went on the screen there, in case you notice a change in light. Lately she had been drawing things lately she's been drawing things in a notebook with her and another girl, and but she lost it in this tornado. It isn't lost in the house. She had it when she got out of the house, but then she lost it. Anyway, sorry, long story. Anyway, the premise is also that then at school she finds some of her drawings in her locker, and so somebody found her notebook. They're telling her to open up about her identity. So this is basically like a middle grade book, coming of age. Ivy realizing that she likes girls. And yeah, it's also about her relationship with her family. So she has a mom and a dad. She has an older sister, and then she has two younger brothers. They're twins. They are babies. I try to remember if they're like 3 months old or 6 months old, a year old, but they're quite young. I apologize for not specifically remembering. Ivy used to get along with her big sister, but not anymore lately, and you find out the reason for that in the book. Yeah, I really like this. I really like all the books I've been reading lately. And it was an emotional Ivy also. There's a classmate that she thinks she's starting to develop a crush on. Ivy has a best friend, and there's also this boy in school that her friend has a crush on. Her friend is female. Sorry, I'm trying. I really liked this. If this sounds like something you would like, I would recommend it. That's all that I had for now. Yeah, bye. So those are the books that I have read so far this month. Here they all are. So it is not entirely the end of the month yet as I'm filming this, but I just started to read a long book after taking a reading break for a few days because I couldn't quite get into reading much. and I was busy anyway. So I don't know if I'll finish that long book anytime soon, but we'll see. Again, I'm sorry about the lack of lighting in the intro and outro of this clip, as well as in some of the clips, because it's hot here and I have the shutter shut. I think I said it in the last clip I filmed. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. If you would like to leave a like and or a comment, I would appreciate it. If you've read any of these books, or do you think this idea worked? If you want to let me know, feel free. I still have to edit some of it, so, but at least I hopefully remembered a bit more about the books than if I had waited like a few weeks or thing, or if I was like some books since then, because then yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. This was a long video. I'm sorry about that. It seems when I film several short clips, then in total it gets quite long because I tend to ramble a bit per clip. Yeah, sorry, but I guess on the upside there won't be that many other videos about the month of July. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!